So basically, user management involves defining and managing users' roles and their access level in a system. So what this means is that user management, as the name implies, helps to control or manage people who are going to be using your website or application. The users, they can be visitors, registered users, special members, that is VIP members, or admin, or even paid members, depending on their level or how they access the website. A user management dashboard or console provides systems administrator with a high-level view of a system's active user section, their login status, the privilege of each user, and the activities in the system, managing external activities in the system, managing external user stores, and manual automatic logouts, and resetting passwords. So what this is saying is that a user management dashboard provides the system admin with details about the users. These details includes active users section, that is when the section when the user login, like the section how it is stored. For instance, if you log into a website, the website stores your section so that it persists throughout the whole website. Then the login status, are you logging or not? Are you a registered user? Are you a visitor? Then also your privileges. Are there some sites you can visit? Are there some links? Are there some pages you can visit on the website or not? That is where you can go or cannot go, or what you can buy or what you cannot buy. And even your activities. Also, password reset. The user management is also password reset also involves user management too, and also disabling of user accounts. This can be done through user management. Okay, it enables systems, user management enables systems that mean to make business critical, real-time security decisions. A typical user management implementation involves a wide range of functionalities, such as adding and deleting users, just like I explained, controlling user activities through permissions, managing user roles, defining authentication policies, managing external user stores, and manual automatic logout and reset passwords. Then user management system has the following basic components. First of all, we have the users itself. Very important because they cannot be user management without users. So the users, they are the consumers or people who interact with your organization application, databases, and other systems. A user can be a person, a device, or another application or programs within or outside of the organization's network, because user interacts with internal systems and access data. Organization needs to define which data and functionalities each user can access by assigning permission. Sorry, am I still on? Can anyone hear me? Just to confirm.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do I need to slow down or anything? Any observation?
Carry on.
Okay, thank you. So basically, just to summarize what I just said, users are the end product users of website application, or let's say application as in general, people that consume it, people that get to use the website, because actually if an application or a website is built and nobody gets to use it, it's not complete. There must be someone to use it. So now these are the people that are managed on the app or applications. And this management is what we are talking about today. So now permissions. A permission is a delegation of authority or a right that is assigned to a user or group of users to perform an action on a system. Permission can be granted to or revoked from a user group, or user role automatically or by system administrator. For example, if a user has the permission to log into a system, the permission to log out is automatically granted as well. So in summary, permission is just a way of keeping unwanted users, or should I say, unwanted users out of particular section of your website. For instance, as an already started user on a website, there are certain things you can do and certain things you cannot do. So permission is used to keep certain users out of particular section of the website. Even as a registered user, if you don't log in, you cannot still get some certain pages on the website. Also, even when you log in, if you don't have a certain role as maybe a VIP member or a paid member or something, if you don't have that role too, and you're not granted the permission, you still cannot use certain aspects of the website. This is what permission does. And basically, once you're permitted into a website, so that when you're logged into a website, you are granted automatically, you can be logged out automatically. Only login user can be logged out. So user roles. A user role is a grouping of permissions. In addition to assigning individual permission to users, admins can create user roles and assign those roles to users. Basically, user roles is just differentiating the different levels of users on an application. So that there are people that, for instance, an admin is a role. The admin can create sub-admins. That is, should I say, a different level of admin. The admin can create roles also for, sorry, there can be roles for special members, maybe VIP members, maybe paid members, maybe different roles. So the under user management, it is categorized under user roles. So that, for example, you might want to create user roles called VP, manager, and employee, of which has a different set of permissions, and then assign those roles to users based on their position in the company. Then if you need to modify the permission of all your managers, you can simply modify the manager user role and all the users within the roles. With that role, you have their permissions updated automatically. For instance, in a company, it's not everybody that have access to a particular, should I say, documents or files. There are some files or documents that are accessible to just the managers, or maybe people at the top, board of directors. So that is the same part or role the user role plays, so that the permission you give to the manager, we might not necessarily give it to normal users, maybe people that are visitors or just regular users. So you can define all these roles using the user role. So that, for instance, now, as an admin, the admin have the power to delete users, maybe approve users, have the power to even assign special position to users. That is a rule. An admin is a rule. So now I'm going to user stores. An application is not complete without a database. So now that's what the user store is talking about. A user store is a database where information about the user and user role is stored, including the login name, the password, the first name, and the last name and email address. Not just these 5 things I listed. Different things can also be stored in the database. There are different kinds of database, as we know. We have the MySQL database, we have the MariaDB, this Maria database, we have the SQLite, and and we have also MongoDB, among others. So basically, a database is like a storage where you store user data and can also be retrieved depending on how the database is structured or how it is used. So now, next thing is, okay, and yes, the roles, when you assign roles, you store these roles in database, such that on the table, because database is a table, when you create database, you have to create a table. So now on the table of the users, for instance, now you want to make, let's say, you want to make Patrick an admin. So now you can decide to, under the admin column of the table, you can decide to make, you can decide to set the admin under the admin column, set it as 1, while other people that are not admin, you can decide to set them as 0. So now we have setting Patrick column under the admin as 1 makes Patrick an admin. But other people that you've not set as 1, that you set as 0, are not admin. So they don't have the permission to do what Patrick accounts can do on the application. So now RDBMS, basically RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management, which is this for authentication and authorization. The relational database management system stores, that is RDBMS, stores information about the role-based permission. So let's talk briefly about authentication and authorization. Simply put, authentication is the process of verifying who someone is. Authentication, to authenticate something, is the process of verifying who someone is, whereas authorization is the process of verifying what specific application, file, and data a user has access to. When you log into a website with your credentials, and okay, when you try to log in, the process is called authentication, whether it's correct or not. That's authentication. If it's correct, you are allowed to enter the website, maybe your own page or something. But if it's wrong, you are sent back. That's authentication. But authorization is checking if you are allowed to be in that particular, should I say, web page or a web page, if you are allowed. So most times authorization comes after authentication. So authentication works through password, one-time password or PIN, biometrics information provided by the user. It can be facial recognition, depending on the technology used for the authentication. While authorization works through settings that are implemented and maintained by the organization. Authentication is the first step of a good identity and access management process, because you can't just leave your website open, except you're just maybe you're just showing things that are not that's not really important, that you don't need to protect. Then in that case, you don't need to authenticate anybody. Every user can make use of the website without registering or anything. So authorization always takes place after authentication, just like I said. Then method of authentications, we have ID token, facial recognition, biometrics, like I said, then password, which is the most common one, password system. Then method of authorization, we have the RBAC, which means role-based access control. Then we have the auth token too. This authorization method gives user access to information based on their roles as assigned. Then also on applications such as Yi framework, we have access control filter, which can check if a user is if user is logged in or not, so that if you're not logged in, you don't have the access, you don't have the.
I can hear you. Sorry.
Sorry, what did you say? Okay. So that's the basics of authentication and authorization. Then next, we'll be going into section and cookies. So basically, sections and cookies allow data to be persisted across multiple user requests. In plain PHP, we may access them through the global variables, that is section and cookies. Anywhere you see the last sign, you just know that's PHP. This is a PHP syntax. So in plain PHP, you may access them through the global variables, sections, and cookies, respectively. Yi encapsulates sections and cookies as objects, and thus allow you to access them in an object-oriented fashion, traditional useful enhancements. So basically,
Hello,
section and cookies.
Mr. Patrick.
Yeah.
I should be summarizing now to evaluate your class.
Okay. I'm already running off. So basically, sections and cookies are a way of storing the user's data. Maybe you want to store the user ID or section. Like after logging in, most times we store user section. You can store it using section or cookies. So now sections are saved on the server side. I think that I'm trying to go through the differences between section and cookies because they are not entirely the same. They have some differences. Sections are saved on the server side, whereas cookies are saved on the user browser or client sides. Because if you notice, sometimes if you check your browser, there's the way you can clear your cookies, or in short, you even have the permission to whether to enable your cookies or not to enable it. Unlike sections, you don't have permission for sections because section is on the server side. Once the programmer programs section into a website, once you log in, you don't have permission over it, you don't have control over it. Your section has to be saved on the server side. Okay, a section is used to temporarily store the information on the server to be used across multiple pages of the website, just like I said. Then a cookie is a small text file that is stored on the user's computer. It stores only the strings data type. The information on cookies is not as secured as section because, like I said, you can delete your cookies anytime because it's saved on your machine. Okay, quick evaluation. That's all I have for user management today. So I'll quickly do a quick evaluation. Okay, before I evaluate anybody, is there any question? I would love to hear feedbacks or anything.
Yeah, there's a question.
Okay, sir.
Please, I did not really get your explanation on the difference between section and cookies. And it seems from you are trying to say section is more better than cookies. Please, can you give slide details, please?
Okay. I'm not saying, okay, in technology, be very careful to, we are very careful to say one thing is better than one thing. Just like saying most times people compare frameworks or languages together. There is no better framework or language. It just depends on your preference or what you need to do. So now, what section can do, cookies can do it also. That's actually group them together. That's the similarities. They used to store information about a user when he's logging, basic information, because the section cannot totally do, or section and cookies cannot totally do the work of database. But then they used to store certain information about a user. So now section is stored. Section works on the server side, that is behind. The user does not have access to sections. Once the programmer programs a section, it is stored on the website. So once you are logging, probably the programmer said, okay, once the user is logging, I want to grab his user ID or maybe username or anything so that I can use it across your website. So that you notice when you're logging into a dashboard, you can see welcome Patrick or something, because they have saved your section. They've saved your username in the section. Also, you can also use cookies to do that too. Cookies too can also be used to store. So I wouldn't say one is better than one, but depending. But what I want to know is that section is more secured than cookies, because like I explained, most times you have to for a website using basically cookies, you have to enable it from your browser first. Like I said, a cookies is client side. If you notice, if it's on a website, they'll tell you to turn on your cookie to enable cookies. So that if you don't enable cookies, actually some websites will actually block you. You cannot use the website. They'll say you have to enable cookies to be able to use this website. So now section is more secure, and cookies, someone can easily get your cookie maybe through malicious acts compared to sections. I've answered your question, not to take too much time.
Okay, but I would have loved to ask another one. I'm not really clear.
Okay.
One. My question
Go ahead.
Another question I have is, this section you're talking of, instead is stored at the server side. Then how come is the user detail? How are they able to identify the user if we have this thing at the server side?
Like I explained, once you log in, once you register, you register on the website, your details are sent to the database. Okay, if the website is attached, some website, once you register, you can automatically log in. So now the programmer creates a section, just like you are seeing on the screen, section, then he opens, sorry, I didn't add that to my slide. Then he creates a section, he sets a section and stores your maybe your ID or your username. It's best good to store ID because each user has a distinct ID. Your primary ID, I don't know if you're into programming, but then you should know that your primary ID is unique to each user. No user can have your ID. So now if the programmer gets hold of your ID, he can retrieve any of your details from database.
So
did you get me?
Like from there, like an e-commerce website, I believe something is being stored in like an e-commerce website. I believe something is being stored in the user's side, the client side. Like e-commerce does not have a place for you to register, but yet they can identify you. So I feel
cookies. They can use cookies to do that. Cookies.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mostly they use cookies now because should I say it's lighter and it's like you just explained now, it's not every website you have to log in before you can use things. Another question? Okay, if there's another question, I would love someone to just quickly just explain the difference or just tell me the difference between authorization and authentication. Anyone? Authorization and authentication, the difference. Please, if the next speaker is next presenter is ready, I can.
Hello. To me,
are you ready?
Hello.
Yeah, are you ready?
No, I'm not presenting. Just the question
Okay.
You said. I can barely hear you. I just heard you right now, and since morning. But then, from my experience of cookies and what you were talking about, authorization is giving access. Authentication is to confirm. Authentication is to confirm if the person has the right access. That's how I can put it. To authenticate, actually, it could give you a code. It could give you a code to authenticate something like the Google authentication. Now, if you want to log in and then they want to confirm if that account belongs to you, it sends you an authentication code. That's to authenticate. Then to authorize is giving the answer. I don't know, but that's from my own basic cookies experience. I've been complaining that I can't hear you. I didn't know that it was the PC I'm using that had issues. I hope I'm correct.
You are right. You said it well. Thank you. Peter's right.
Yes, it's Peter's.
Oh, yeah. Well done. Thanks.
All right. Are you through with your questions, Mr. Patrick?
Yes, I am.
You just have only one question for the audience.
Okay. I have another question. Okay, who can tell me the meaning of RDBMS? The full meaning of RDBMS.
Hi, this is Michael.
Relational database management system.
Okay, Abafemi, thank you. Final question. Can someone just explain user roles? Can someone just briefly explain user roles? as it applies to user management system?
Yes, the user rules to do with that. Authorization.
Monday, I can barely hear you.
Okay, I think the user rules is what determines how the authority, that authorization, which means what the user has access to. It can be an admin, it can be a normal user or other things.
Yeah, it's just like a set of permissions attached to that rule. Just set of permissions.
Okay. Thank you, Bafemi. Thank you. The absence of any other addition.
All right, Patrick. Thank you very much for today. I would like to maybe subsequently you could entertain us more with some pictures in your slides so that you can engage us better. Can you hear me, Patrick?
No, I didn't get that. Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said maybe subsequently you should endeavor to just can you hear me?
Yes, I am with you, sir. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Like, you mean pictures, right?
Moderator, please mute bio.
Patrick, can you hear me now?
I can, sir.
Okay, I say subsequently in your slide, you should endeavor to give us a picture so that you can engage us better.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, I get you now.
All right. Okay, thank you for today.
You're welcome, sir. Thank
the
you, everyone.
the other presenter is not. All right. The other presenter is not available presently. So I want to pass some information. The video for public artifact is still a requirement. For some time now, some people presenting have not been given out their video as a public artifact for people to access. You have an advantage for that, not just for Bincom, but beyond Bincom. But I want to confirm whether I have audience of the participants, whether they are listening to me. And I want to also inform you that participating in the KD just makes you to be a few steps to win the cash award of 25,000 naira at the end of the month. Hope that is
Mr. Jacob.
Interesting.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Mr. Peter, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry for the video that you talked about. I was asking, are we supposed to, after sending it on our maybe public and our social media, I was supposed to send a link, the video's link to the KD channel? Because I was very careful not to do that. Yeah, I actually had a link, but I was very careful after I did my video not to actually post. So because I don't know where to post it to. So I want to ask now, I want to post some of these videos to the KD for people to see from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Do you get my response?
Yes. Yeah, I got it now.
All right. So back to what I was saying, that you participating also just makes you few steps closer to win the 25,000 naira cash award at the end of the month. You not partaking in the KD also gives you the opportunity to be 100 meters far away from winning the 25,000 naira cash award at the end of the month, with some penalty attached to it. So it's either you gain or you lose. That is a loss, and that could lead to a financial loss.
That 100 meters.
And it's pathetic for you instead of you to be earning, you are losing money. So I will encourage all of us and admonish us, just as we are giving it a shot, being around. It's good to learn. Let's keep on. All right. Beside that, on the public, the video for the public artifact, it should not be sent to. We should not send it to kd@bincom.net for approval. It's only the slide that should be sent to kd@bincom.net for approval. Only the slide. The video should only be on the Slack channel. The link for the video should be sent to the Slack channel for people to watch and like on the respective social media channel. Abubakar, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jacob.
All right. Mr. Bayo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. If can you hear me? Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
All right. Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, which mic?
Hear
Sir?
you, Jacob.
Michael, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right.
I can hear you, sir.
Mr. Bafemi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Mr. Bafemi, we missed you yesterday. What happened?
I thought I sent you a message. You didn't see it.
Mr. Jacob.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to say, shouldn't you have just off the live video? You know, we are still live right now, and nobody's presenting. Just a suggestion, though.
It's a part of. We are taking attendance.
Okay, no problem.
It's a part of the process. Simetin, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
Victor, can you hear me?
Who?
Victor.
I'm the one have been talking since now.
All right. Mr. Priska, can we hear you? Can you hear me, rather?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right.
Hear me?
Oladeji Oluwaseun, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right. Olivia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, as I said earlier,
Mr. Jacob,
public artifact is very.
Don't call me. I'm hearing you.
All right. So I will still encourage us that we should post our public artifacts. It's essential. And I can just give you what my last presentation now, which the public artifacts I posted on YouTube, has given me a subscriber just with that video only. And it's not just an individual subscriber, it was a channel that subscribed to my video. The implication is that the whole of the subscribers on that channel have to gain access to my video and also receive notification when I post video. And that could give a remote opportunity, a remote invitation for presentation, or a remote job and all that. And it's not a channel. So when we do that, it gives us an exposure. So those that have presented, I don't think your video was ready. Maybe that's why you could not post it give us the link on the Slack channel. But for those that are yet to present, please endeavor to do that.
One more thing,
It's
Mr.
an opportunity to
Jacob,
say
sir.
yourself.
One more thing, Mr. Jacob.
And all right.
Some of us have already presented. Sorry, can we still drop our videos on the link?
It's at your discretion. You can.
Okay, thank you.
So, and I want to say admonitions. Our slides, let's make it better so that it can speak well of us as we present, as professionals and the rest. In fact, the slide is a packaging. If you give it attention, give it more time, you package it very well, it looks professional, and it can gain international audience for you. So that's just a little motivation for the minute. So if there's any suggestion, any opinion, or anything that is worth considering, or any challenge in regards to the making a public artifact or whatever, we just have less than 3 minutes to do that. Let me hear you. Any opinion, suggestion, comment, query in regard to what I've said so far? All right. In the absence of such, thank you very much today for being in today's KD. And I still want to inform you that you are just a few steps away from 25,000 cash award at the end of the month. Keep it up. Thank you, everybody. So the KD has come to an end for today. Goodbye.